Public Trust Media Group (PTMG) presents 2023 Elections Update, keeping track of the electoral process. This program promotes free, fair, transparent, credible, and violence-free electoral process. I'm Frank Sainworla in Monrovia.
All appearance, come info to vote on election day.
As Liberians prepare to go to the polls, this is a half-hour radio program exclusively devoted to elections issues in the countdown to the 2023 presidential and legislative elections. This is edition number 8. In the update today, mobilizing first-time voters turnout for the biometric voter registration exercise. The head of a youth group will be telling us what they are and will be doing to encourage young people to be active in the democratic process and boost female participation in politics.
We understand that young women have been on the field, many have been on the field of playing, watching the soccer game of politics, and we want to bring them on the field as players of soccer of politics. We are here to advocate for young women and to promote peace and development.
Our regular reminder on what the law says about who is eligible to vote.
Section 3.1 says, a Liberian citizen who has attained or reached the age of 18 years or older may register as a voter, except one who has been judicially declared to be incompetent.
Reducing the increasing wave of militancy in Liberian political parties.
The issue of militancy is on all sides, and of course it's a fault because when you have political parties and of course militants, power militants coming from the ruling party, and all of them trying to also show their strength, they breathe in the atmosphere of violence and insecurity that may grow up to something that maybe may not be manageable ahead of the election.
Wake up, Mother Liberia, wake up, wake up. Wake up, Mother Liberia, wake up. The word is here to wake you up.
Pre-campaigning is any activity that is engaged in by a political party or an individual who intends to contest the election to put that person ahead of the other or candidate or aspirants or political parties. For instance, what we consider as pre-campaign is if somebody makes a statement, that seeks to solicit votes on his behalf, put out promotional materials like pictures, like with wordings, trying to entice people to support him. Those are the things that we consider as pre-campaign.
Election is crucial to the building of every democracy. Election is everybody's business. 2023 Elections Update is a PTMG production in partnership with this station every week and as a podcast online. You can get us on YouTube. So let's stay focused on the issues in the countdown to the October polls. Ballots, not bullets.
Ladies and gentlemen, election is not war. Election is not confusion. Election is not enemyship. Election is not division. Election is not tribalism. Election is not confrontation. Election is not hatred. Election is not war. I want you to let my people know that.
Thanks for joining us. Ahead of the October 2023 elections, a key process that must take place is the registration of voters with Liberia for the first time attempting to do biometric voter registration. And this will be for citizens who will meet the criteria under Liberian law to cast the ballots on that day. But who is eligible to vote? This is contained in Article 3 of the Voter Registration Regulation in the country's new election law and is in line with Article 77 of the Liberian Constitution, which covers political parties and elections.
Section 3.1 says a Liberian citizen who has attained or reached the age of 18 years or older may register as a voter, except one who has been judicially declared to be incompetent or of unsound mind, who has been disenfranchised as a result of conviction of an infamous crime and has not been restored to citizenship. Section 3.2 says a person must register to vote at the voter registration center established by the NEC for the place where he or she ordinarily resides. Section 3.3 says no person shall be allowed to register more than once during the registration period.
On the NEC elections timetable, the biometric voter registration is due to start on March 20 and end May 11 this year, with elections day set for October 10. As you heard earlier, a Liberian citizen below the age of 18 is not qualified to vote. Between the last elections and this year's elections, there are thousands of young Liberians who have reached the age of 18 and now meet the age requirement to vote. But before that, they must register. They are first-time voters. It must be understood that a ticket to vote is people's voter registration cards. A youth group, Young Women's Action for Rights, Peace and Democracy, has set out to engage in mass mobilization of first-time voters to first ensure they take part in the biometric voter registration activity and then exercise their franchise at the ballot box in October. The group is also engaged in helping to boost women and generally young people's participation in the electoral and democratic process. Ms. Rachel Allison, Executive Director of the Young Women's Action for Rights and Democracy, is in our 2023 Elections Update studio this week. But before Ms. Rachel Allison comes on, the famous local musical group Small Town is rallying eligible voters to go out and register in the upcoming biometric voter registration from March 20 to May 11 this year. This is the 2023 elections update, and on the update, we cover a lot of issues related to the elections, the upcoming presidential, legislative elections. And one of the issues we tend to put a spotlight on from time to time, as many times as possible, is the issue of first-time voters. I have with me a young woman who has a Liberian NGO. She will introduce herself, and I've got information that she's also a first-time voter. Welcome to Elections Update.
Thank you. Thank you.
Just tell us your name and the group you heading.
Okay, I'm Rochelle Marcelin Allison, and I'm heading the Young Women Action for Right, Peace, and Development.
Rochelle,
Yeah.
first, tell us a bit about your group. We understand you're also interested in encouraging young women to participate in the political process.
Yes, yes, yes. We understand that young women have been on the field, mainly they have been on the field of playing, watching the soccer game of politics, and we want to bring them on the field as players of soccer of politics. Sorry. We are here to advocate for young women and to promote peace and development. Okay, we are here to promote young women and to advocate for them for because they have been on the field for a very long time watching the game of politics, and we want to bring them on board to play the game of politics.
Now, to what extent are you engaging the young women? Then we'll go into the issue of the first time voters.
Well, we have been trying to talk to them, to encourage them, and to also let them know about their rights as young women.
So, what has been the response from those young women?
Well, some of them are a little bit scared, since they think we have with the world at large that women cannot do this, women cannot do that. So some of them are scared, and some of them are coming on board little by little.
So, you're trying to give them encouragement that they, as citizens, is their civic responsibility to exercise the franchise.
Yes, 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 of course.
Let's talk about the first time voters. As I said at the start of this interview, we understand you too are first time voter.
Yeah.
Who are the first time voters and what strategy are you using to reach out to them?
The first time voters are those who have never voted in their life. And some of them, we notice some of them are now motorcyclists, and we want to engage them by having a civil education campaign, by having a one-on-one debate with some of the senators that will be running, and also to meet up with the political parties also.
So you're not only mobilizing first time voters to get interested in the electioneering process, first to register to vote because it's important. Something like the timetable, biometric voter registration kicks off, expected to kick off from the 20th of March and end on the 11th of May. So
Yeah.
you don't only intend to get them mobilized to register, but you also in the future intend to mobilize them to engage politicians who are running for various positions.
Yes, yes, of course, of course.
So, how does your group intend to do this? And first time voters are spread across the country.
We are first starting from Maserati. As you know, we cannot do the whole country right now. So in Maserati, the 17 electoral district, we are going into those in district, and we will try talking to them and having a one-on-one town hall meeting with them also, along with those that will be running.
Now, the schools, high schools, and even universities and colleges, I believe, should have a good number of first time voters. You are a student of one of the universities here, the AMB University. Are you targeting those universities?
Yes, of course, of course. We also want to establish a democratic club in those schools in Maserati for now.
But from your own evaluation of the situation, being a university student yourself, uh, how active are students in issues like civic, political issues, issue of democracy, getting involved in the democratic process, do you think?
Well, from my view, I think they are 100% active and happy about it because from what I've been observing, whenever it comes to politics, I mean, like the students, they even like dodge class just to attend those kind of stuff.
Now, finally, before I leave you, tell us about your own strategy once again towards mobilizing as many, I guess they are in the tens of thousands because the youthful population is huge. Even the last census and this current census put the youth population very high. Uh, Tell us again about how you intend to go ahead with this huge exercise, your group.
Yeah, we decided to create a internet platform, be it social media. I mean, Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter. The students use the kind of stuff wherein we will have a group page. You can go there anytime to give up your view. We encourage you and talk to you from there also.
So the social media page is not ready.
No, not yet. By next week, we'll start working on it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That was the voice of Miss Rachel Allison. She is the head of the Young Women's Action for Rights and Democracy. Rachel is also a student at the AMA University, and by the way, also a first time voter.
We took this break to bring you this special information. Public Trust Media Group, along with several radio stations, including this station, brings this weekly production of 2023 Elections Update to fill you in with the laws, processes, and happenings relating to Liberia's elections on October 10. This program informs and educates you, our listeners, including first-time voters. Public Trust Media Group, however, looks up to you, Liberia's development partners, civil society organizations, and pro-democracy group for partnership and sponsorship of this program. Please email us on fsainworla@yahoo.com or call 0770-755-173 or 0888-311573. Thanks for being part of the change maker.
If you've just joined us, this is 2023 Elections Update, a half-hour radio program exclusively devoted to election issues in the countdown to the 2023 presidential and legislative elections. Welcome, I'm Frank Sainworla, and this is edition number 8. This program is heard on this station every week. Thanks to our radio partners for airing the show. ECOWAS Radio 91.5 and 97.1, Truth FM 96.1, Banner FM 98.5, Prime FM 105.5, United Methodist Radio 98.7, Lux FM 106.5, and Power FM 93.3, keeping track of the electoral process. This program focuses on the issues, not personalities, spotlighting the laws, guidelines, and regulations governing the elections, as well as the civic roles and responsibilities of the voters and those to be voted for. It's a Public Trust Media Group PTMG production in partnership with this station every week and as a podcast on YouTube. Ballots, not bullets. Next is the wave of militancy in Liberian political parties nowadays.
Ladies and gentlemen, election is not war. Election is not confusion. Election is not animation. Election is not division.
Over the years, a wave of militancy has gripped party politics in Liberia, and in many instances, politicians have put the young people at the front of such militant activities. Keen watchers of politics in the country can safely say that various kinds of militant activities are across the board. Militant brigades have been popping up in political parties. One would expect that the level of militancy by party stalwarts will rise in the run-up to the October 10 presidential and legislative elections. Well, your program 2023 Elections Update is keeping track of this. The National Human Rights Advocacy Platform is also concerned about the wave of militancy in political activities. Adamant Dempster, the Secretary General of the Civil Society Advocacy Platform, thinks if the activities of party militants are not checked, it could undermine the holding of peaceful elections.
Yeah, this is something that is also of a great concern because the issue of militancy is on all sides, and of course it's unfortunate because when you have political parties and of course militants, power militants coming from the ruling party and other men trying to also show their strength, they breathe in the atmosphere of violence and insecurity narratives that may grow up to something that maybe may not be manageable ahead of the election. So these are things that we want to discourage, and we want the government to stand up. We want the government through the Ministry of Justice, because at the end of the day, we are calling for a credible, free, fair, credible election, transparent election, and that can only happen when the government have full control and have authority, exercise that authority to put things on in the atmosphere that should be happening on a daily basis. And the militancy itself, having young people, the youthful population moving with the display of different machetes or whatever you call, is kind of worrisome. It also scare away investors of friends of Liberia who want to come. So these are things that we do not want to encourage. So that's what we're saying. Ahead of the election, we have to stand up as a country. The government need to put the mechanisms in place to be able to show protection. This is important for us.
What program does the Human Rights Advocacy Platform have to engage these various political parties in terms of impressing on them the need for a rights-based campaign effort?
So some of the things that even in past elections that we use that has to do with initiative is basically engage with all parties, including political parties in the government, to exercise restraint. Let the rule of law be the order of the day. Because human rights, democracies are built upon human rights. They rely on human rights because they're where people exercise their fundamental rights. They're where people take part in decision making that will inform the country in the next tenure of what new government will be coming into place. So our own work as human rights group, we communicate the issue of non-violence. That is, no hate speech. Politicians, political parties should not engage in hate speech. They should not incite supporters to be violent or engage into any act that will undermine the security of the state. These are things from a human rights-based approach. We continue to play, we continue to speak to them about. So quite importantly, last year, that was 2022, the close of 2022 through the UN High Commission for Human Rights, we have introduced a checklist, a human rights checklist that will be used in the election, that will be applied to monitor human rights in the election, that will also speak about the independence and the credible aspect of how the election is being conducted. So the checklist are with us. We're also going to be looking at the free movement and then access to voting facilities by all sides, including citizens, persons with disability, and of course looking at women participations and gender dimension in elections.
Are you extending your activities in rural areas?
Automatically, because the stretch is restricted. The expansion of the platform, which is the network, allow us to create human rights chapters in the counties. So the human rights chapters in the county is basically working with local human rights groups that are based in the county, because you don't want to have duplication or waiting the human rights actors living from Morovia before you go to Lofa to pick up the issue. Most times some of those issues may disappear. So what we've done is that we provided training. In the wake of over 4 years now, we work with local human rights groups in the counties so that they can monitor and pick up the human rights issues on the ground. So we're going to still use and strengthen those chapters, provide additional training so that they can be the eye on the ground to follow up on election issues, and they report on a daily basis as to how human rights issues are unfolding in the counties. Okay, so in conclusion, if you allow me, I also, from a human rights-based approach, I intend to actually point out the issue of the media community playing a non-political role in the election. This will actually bring credibility to the media community and then be able to independently, factually report on election and election-related matters in the election, during the election that is coming up. So we look forward to the pressure and all the media landscape within the country to engage the election process that is during and after the election from that independent standpoint, so that the media can communicate the actual reality of what happened in the election and the source of credibility. Those are things we look forward to see.
Okay, thank you very much, Adaman Dempster from the Human Rights Advocacy Platform. He's actually the Secretary General of the platform. Thanks a lot.
Pre-campaigning is any activity that is engaged in by a political party or an individual who intends to contest the election to put that person ahead of the other or candidate or aspirants or political parties. For instance, what we consider as pre-campaign is if somebody makes a statement, that seeks to solicit votes on his behalf, put out promotional materials like pictures, like with wordings, trying to entice people to support him. Those are the things that we consider as pre-campaign.
Edition number 8 of 2023 Elections Update is over. This is a half-hour radio program exclusively devoted to election issues. In the countdown to the 2023 polls, a Public Trust Media Group PTMG production, and it's presented by me, Frank Sainworla, in partnership with this station and other stations. Thanks for listening. Ballots, not bullets.